Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Movie Screeners Club podcast. I'm your host, Sophia Falk. The Movie Screeners Club is brought to you by Designing Hollywood Productions in association with Gardena Cinema. If you want to win the chance to have your short film screened in a huge cinema and the opportunity to be interviewed on our podcast, please submit your short film today to moviescreenersclub@gmail.com.
So my name's Kenji McGuire. I'm a filmmaker based in Long Beach, California. I'm part of a group called Base Demon Productions. Basically, it's like it's just a few of us, and we kind of like take turns like doing a short. So like my thing is like action and comedy, and my other buddy does like kind of more art house stuff. So we kind of like, like there's a variety of stuff that's on there pretty much, and my turn to make a film, it was Stabby Stabby, which is an idea I came up with 2 years ago, and we attempted filming it 2 years ago and just didn't come out right. I might get into that later. Um, but I liked the script enough that we decided to do it again. And it's essentially like a martial arts comedy meets murder mystery. But it's a twist on it where you know who the killer is from the very beginning of the film, which I thought was really silly.
So there's a pretty intense like fight sequence between you and one of the other actors.
So
Yeah.
hot.
Do you
Dude.
have do
So
you
hot,
have
dude.
do you have experience like stunt fighting, or is this kind of like brand new just for this short?
It's kind of tricky. Like I've always loved martial arts and I've always loved martial arts movies. I wasn't allowed to take it as a kid, like growing up in a really like religious household where they kind of were like, no, you can't do that, but I always loved it, and then growing up I was like, well, I don't care, I'm just gonna learn anyway, and so my buddies who are martial artists would teach me what they know pretty much.
No way. So that's just all off the cuff what you're doing right there? That's just
It is
homie
choreographed for
Oh,
sure.
yeah, sure.
Yeah. So basically, me and my buddy Angel, who I fight in that film, we met at a park like 2 weeks earlier, and we're like, all right, let's figure out this fight. And we'd basically be like, okay, I'll stab you. What are you gonna do? And he's like, I'll block. I'm like, okay, and then what? And then we just did that for like an hour until we kind of had something we like, and then the next week we like refined it. So as far as like stunt fighting practice, I don't really have that much besides being like self-taught pretty much, and just having like friends who are also like really passionate about it to help. So yeah, that's basically where that came from.
Dude, no way. Your homies gave you some good moves, bro. Dude, those blocks, everything's so smooth with it. It's so sick, dude. I was
Thank
like,
you.
yeah, it's a big turning point for sure. So that got me hyped when I saw it. 100%.
Yeah, we played it at the Great Film Club like last week, I believe. And it was so funny because it's such a goofy film. And then when people get to the fight, like you could feel the air in the room change, and people were like, wait, what? Like
Yeah, it looks hype, dude. It's like, oh shit, shit, man. Like, yo,
Thank
everyone's
you.
doing
It started out of nowhere.
No, exactly. Yeah, and it works actually because you forget that it's silly for like a minute straight, and then obviously the joke at the end, which I won't spoil.
Yeah, right. No spoilers. No spoilers.
Yeah.
No, I think you draw us in with the comedy and then you flip it. The way you like flip it, man, is really sick. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's always how you get people is you make them laugh and then you flip it. So like that was dope. No, for sure.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, that was the goal for sure.
Compliments. Yes.
Yeah.
How'd you come up with the story, and why did it stay on the shelf for so long?
Well, yeah. So, I'm not too sure how I came up with the story just because it was so long ago. But a lot of the ideas that I come up with is usually like a common genre and then a twist on it. So this was like murder mystery, but you know who the killer is the whole time, and it's like I like that idea a lot. And then there's also in like an old school kung fu movie called Daggers 8. And basically it's a movie where the killer, like the bad guy has like this suit on where it's like they're just like hidden knives everywhere. So he just like keeps pulling one out, like, oh, he gets this arm, he pulls another one out. And I like that. So I thought it's kind of goofy, to see that. And so I was like, yeah, what if the killer like he just has a bunch of knives on him, at all times. So that's where the idea came from. And as far as why it got shelved, is because we were we were going to film it in downtown LA at a location we got off Pier Space. And basically the host canceled on us like 30 minutes before we got there. But we were already driving over. And so I wasn't checking my email. So I was just like, oh, we're locked out for some reason. Then I checked my email and then found that out. And my buddy's like, oh, my sister's partner works at an office in downtown LA. We could go there. So we went. But it was like the office building for like pre-K elementary school, like, so there's like a whiteboard with like colorful markers on it and
Didn't match
like
the
bouncy
vibe.
balls. Where yeah, it's not the vibe at all. And so we filmed it still and I finished it, it's just, but it's not publicly out there. I was like, I'm not totally happy with this and I like this idea, so I just held on to it. But when we came back to do it, I was like, yeah, I really want to do this justice. But unfortunately, like two of the castmates couldn't make it back to reprise their roles. Actually, three, which is unfortunate. But I think the people who came in to do the parts instead still did really good. So yeah.
That's crazy. So there's like a whole test footage with this. So this idea was filmed before
Yeah.
you did that. So when it came to like casting everybody,
hmm
I feel like how that process goes seems like it was kind of fun to be
Yeah.
honest. Yeah.
You know how it was? It was basically like who's available that I know.
I
Yeah.
didn't want to say that.
Usually
That's
is.
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
the vibe. It's like, yo,
yeah.
homie, dude, you want to be in this film? Yo, I got the perfect role for you. So no, that was like, it seemed like you had a good time making it. That's what I
hmm
love about this. Like it's
Yeah,
really
thank you.
well done, and everyone seems like they're there to support like you. I
Yeah.
didn't know you were the writer, bro. That was crazy to me.
Oh, thank
You
you.
just
Yeah.
popped up on the screen. I'm like, bro, I just saw you, man. I'm like, I just saw you. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
thank you. Yeah, basically it was basically whoever I knew. And then I was like, okay, well this person has never acted before and they're not super comfortable with acting. They're gonna die first. And I was like,
right.
but my
Makes it
buddy
easier.
Sean, who has like his monologue like at the beginning where he's like whoever, whichever one of you I'm gonna find you,
Mhm.
you know. Like, and he's an improv actor too. So I was like, hey Sean, like I know it's written in the script, just do whatever you want. The first time we did it. The second time we did it, I just wrote Sean improvises because I was like, that's how we did it the first time, you
He knows
know.
what he's doing.
So yeah, so so yeah, basically I was like trying to pull towards like the strengths of certain people. Obviously like my buddy Angel, who's martial artist, who I fight at the end, obviously he's gonna play that part. So
That makes sense why he was so good at it. I was like, damn, I
yeah.
was how long did y'all practice? Yeah, I was like, whoa,
Yeah, he
smooth.
does a Kali or Eskrima. So it's like a Filipino martial art that uses like sticks. But also they do a lot of like knife
Oh, I
practice
was gonna
as well.
say, so that's why the stick and the knife, yeah, he was
Mhm.
able to. All right,
Yeah, you can
makes
swap out a
sense.
knife for a stick. That's easy.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally, totally. Yeah,
one's
That's
dull,
easy.
one's sharp. That's
Yeah,
sick.
yeah,
that
absolutely.
whole like forgetting their names bit
Yeah,
is so funny.
absolutely.
When I saw the runtime, that the runtime was only 5 minutes, and
hmm
I started watching it, and obviously, like kind of right out of the gate, it's comedic. I was thinking in 5 minutes, how the hell are they gonna wrap this up? And how is how are they gonna continue like the comedy? Like it really was
hmm
jam packed. Do you have like a rule of thumb when it comes to writing comedy like that? Like, do you know that you need to hit it? Every single line has to be funny, especially if you only have 5 minutes to get your point across.
You know what? I would say no. I don't think that there was like a method going into it, but
Mhm,
after seeing other people react to it, I was like, oh, like subconsciously I was doing something there
mhm,
where it's like it's a gradual, like it gets sillier as it goes along, but it
yeah,
also keeps like dipping back into serious. So it's
mhm,
like kind of like, oh no, we're back. Oh, now it's silly again. But no, I don't think I had a rule for it necessarily. I'm not too sure. There is that rule of comedy where it's like if you're going to parody something serious, then you have to act like it's serious. Like you
mhm.
can't
Oh, of course,
laugh
yeah.
because then it takes away the laughter from the audience. Like they don't do the laughing. It's, I
Mhm.
don't, I think I explained that well. That's like a Leslie Nielsen role,
Yeah.
like the guy from
Yeah,
Airplane.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Familiar. Yes, it's the movie Screeners Club. Yeah, familiar.
Yeah, this
yeah,
is the movie
yeah,
Screeners
yeah.
Club. We're not fucking around.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
not messing,
No,
not doing
exactly.
that.
Yeah, yeah. But that makes it sillier,
Mhm.
that
Oh,
everyone's taking it so
completely.
seriously,
Completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, absolutely. But I guess that was the role I went into it with for sure. Yeah.
So is that kind of your genre, like where you feel the most comfortable? Like kind of over the top ridiculous, like an airplane?
Yeah, I feel like that's like where I'm most comfortable for sure. Um, but I also really like I don't know what the definition would be or the name, but like I guess like mumblecore comedy, like where it almost seems improvised,
Uh-huh.
Because me and my buddy Sean, like the guy who does the improv in Stabby Stabby, he is so good at improv, and sometimes we'll just do like bits, like even when we're not coming up with ideas or writing or we're just hanging out, we'll like just do random bits.
Mhm.
And that is like some of the hardest that like we ever laugh. So it's
Yeah.
like I feel like that's something I'm super comfortable with, but that's not quite like the goofy airplane stuff. But also I do want to branch out. Like I don't want to just do comedies. Like I do want to do maybe one day more serious stuff. But again, it is like I'm really comfortable like in this spot. I do want to like branch out, I guess, and outside of my comfort zone.
And maybe an action movie in the future.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, actually,
Cuts were dope,
every
bro. The cuts were dope. You should,
thank
yeah,
you.
no, 100%. I was gonna say, don't feel like you're confident, dude. The action, like I said, I'll hype up the action. I'll keep hyping it up. That was
Hey, thank you so much. I know, I seriously appreciate it. I think that I I I don't want to be like proud, but I am quite proud of the action. I'm like very happy with how it came out. Yeah. But I think action is like the thing I keep coming back to for sure. Big fan of like the 80s like Hong Kong action movies. I think those are
Mhm.
like the best ever. But yeah, every time I try something like writing like something that isn't that, I'm always like I don't know, like, and then I add like some action or some comedy, and I'm like, oh, now it works for
Hmm,
me. You know what I mean?
looks
So,
familiar. This is
yeah,
good. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, one day though, one day I think I'll branch away from it, but right now, like, this is what I'm comfortable with. This is what I love, and this is what I like to see.
Mhm.
And I think that's like a rule of writing sometimes
Yeah.
is, write
You
what
gotta
you want
make
to see. Yeah.
you gotta make what you love. You gotta
Yeah,
make what you
exactly.
know and what you love.
Oh, absolutely.
Hopefully they match up.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, totally.
So if you could describe Stabby Stabby in like 3 words, what 3 words would you use?
Ooh. Oh, that's tricky. That's tricky.
Putting you in a box.
Um, uh, I'd go silly. I don't want to say like silly, goofy, wacky, but but
Really goofy, repetitive.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I think silly is definitely one.
Mhm.
Uh, hopefully exciting. Um, and I would say a roller coaster. I think that's a good one, and not a too typical one. Because of like the how it kind of goes in so many ways, and it's like quite an emotional journey in a way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, it's dope. You had me invested, man. It was nice to see a comedy action. We didn't get a lot of those. Like, we had a couple. Did we have a comedy last month? I should go back
Last month we had a comedy.
to know this.
Mhm.
We
We
had
haven't
one,
had an action comedy yet.
and then we had that really serious film that came out. There was some shadowing that it was sick.
Mhm.
It was just nice for me to see. You killed it in 5 minutes, man. I was
Thank
Yeah,
you.
wondering.
I think
Super
that's the
dope,
most
man.
impressive part is, like, getting all that story and all that comedy into 5 minutes. I think
Yeah.
that's really impressive.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I appreciate that a ton. I was actually worried that like Stabby Stabby would show and I don't know what other films or because I like obviously it wasn't announced yet, but like I wasn't sure like what other films would be playing with it because I'm like, oh man, what if it's
Oh,
like
the
a
tone.
dramatic film that makes you cry and then Stabby Stabby and then another like dramatic film and it's like I'm just
Well,
here like
that's
twiddling my thumbs, like haha.
that's the beauty of it, man. You kind of come
Yeah.
in like if it's drama comedy, it's like
Mhm.
you're the relief. Everyone wants
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
everyone wants to laugh, man. So nah,
No, for sure.
yeah, it'll be
Absolutely.
nice. It'll be planned. I don't know who's doing it, but it'll be planned. You'll be good. Yeah, don't worry with that.
Don't
Thank
worry.
you.
It's only 8 Holocaust movies and then Stabby Stabby.
Yeah,
Oh
and then
God.
Stabby Stabby at the ends, or
Right at the end,
somewhere
we're gonna slip it
Just to
in
halfway.
cheer
5
everyone up.
minutes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
we at the intermission, we're like, "Yo, Stabby Stabby," and then we go
Uh-huh.
back
Yeah.
to
And then
Mhm.
send people home.
Holocaust survival stories,
There
my
we
great
go.
grandfather stuff. Yeah, it goes back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For sure.
Awesome. Well, go see Stabby Stabby at Gardena Cinema,
Check out
September
Stabby
19th.
Stabby.
Thank you so much, Kenji.
Yeah, no,
Very
thank you
nice
so much for
meeting you.
having me. Seriously, this
Appreciate
was
you,
really
bro.
cool. Yeah, please come out to the Gardena. It's gonna be a lot of fun, I'm sure.
Big time.
Yeah. All
Awesome.
right. Thank you so much. All right.
Thanks
Have
so
a nice
much.
day. Yeah.
I'll
Take
see
care.
you.
The Movie Screeners Club is produced by Designing Hollywood Productions in association with Gardena Cinema. If you want to win the chance to have your short film screened in a huge cinema and the opportunity to be interviewed on our podcast, please submit your short film today to moviescreenersclub@gmail.com. This episode was sponsored by Smoke Break Productions, addictively entertaining.